Move on to questions. Liverpool manager. There's one here. Sorry.
Team Hungary.
So good evening, Mr. Klopp.
I think as well he's a good player.
That's not my question. But my question is about Szobo, of course. I would like to ask you, what is your plan with him right now? Because he finally came back from his injury. But will he be a starter against Prague? You have to be careful with him ahead of the City match.
I don't. You might be surprised, but we don't talk about lineups in these press conferences. So it's good that he's back. He is like, so you know him probably very well. He loves playing football. Being injured is for him tough. It was not an injury where he was painful every day or whatever. He was just not allowed to train properly, how it is with muscle injuries. So that's the reason why we had to be careful in his rehab, because if we would have asked Dom, he could have trained like completely with the team since 2 or 3 weeks, but all the medical advisors told us, no, we have to wait, and that's what we did. Now he's back, played a few minutes, and is in the squad. All the rest, we will see.
Good evening, Mr. Klopp. My name is Jan. I'm from Czech News Agency. It's a pleasure to ask you a question.
Let's see if it's a pleasure to answer.
First of all, I would like to ask you about Sparta. If you could tell us something about them from the videos you have seen, and what do you expect from them? And secondly, I believe you have a relationship with a little bit with former Czech Liverpool players like Vladimír Šmicer and Patrik Berger. You know them a little bit, so if you could tell us something about them as well. Thank you very much.
Let me say, you know more about Sparta and you know more about Patrik and Vladimir, but that's, anyway, I understand the question. So, yeah, we watched obviously Sparta now, and it was an interesting and intense week for them as well. It was 2 games against Slavia. It's obviously a pretty special week. One game, the cup game, they won. The other game, they kept the distance in the table. So with a draw, that's obviously very helpful. Since the manager's in, obviously things turned around, which you can see in becoming champion after such a long time. You can see that in the confidence the team is playing with, clear idea, very intense. But our idea is always a little bit like that, and I don't want to get it misunderstood, but they never played us. So as good as they are good, and we will see how it will work out. How Maka said, we expect a really tough game, but that means we expect from ourselves that we play a top game, and if we can do that, it's not a joy to play against us. So that's what we hope. But Sparta is obviously in a very good moment, and I think everybody who is with Sparta would say that exactly the same. Then Patrik and Vladimir are 2 absolute Liverpool legends. They love still being around. I have always time off when the Legends game is. That's international break. Then I'm not in the city, so we don't meet there a lot. But I know on tours and stuff like this that our legends, and the 2 are definite legends, are there as well. So we had some moments, and it's a joy to have them. And I think when they tell their stories about Liverpool, it's much more interesting when I tell their stories about Liverpool, because it was a bit earlier than I arrived there, but Liverpool is a pretty special club, and one of the best things about the club is they never forget their legends, and that's why they still feel home when they are there, and that's really cool. So, but I think the sporting director is a Dortmund legend. So Mr. Rosicki, if I'm right? Is he sporting right? Yeah. So, look, a lot of connections here, but we are here not for meeting old friends. We are here to play a really good football game. Sorry for the long answer.
Otázka zněla...
Hi again. It's good news that Mo's travelled, so I just wonder what his general condition is at the moment.
Can you please translate the question? Yeah, Mo traveled. Mo Salah traveled with us. That's what he was asking, and what the idea is with him. So, yeah, he's with us. He trained 2 days. So, full of energy. We have to see. But it's so good that he's back. That's really good for us. And you can see in his face, he's very happy. Very unlikely situation with that being that long out, in for a moment, if you want, at Brentford. Played an incredible game there and was out again. So that's how it is. We want to be careful. We have to be careful. But we're in the middle of a super intense period of the season. We need everybody. And now let's see how long we can use him and these kind of things. That's how it is with him, with others as well. Yeah, just good news.
Jürgen, if Mo plays in the next 2 games, would you do you have any concerns about him being called up by Egypt during the international break?
No, that has nothing to do really. That's just will be decided on in different departments. So it's not, had nothing to do with that. But I think, let's see how long he can play now. It's only, how I said, 2 days in team training. So in a different situation. Players are not in the squad in this moment. So, but in our situation, makes sense. What can we give him? How much can we use him? We will see that. And then, yeah, 2 games with Egypt. But it's really not up to me or stuff like this. We are not really involved. So that's is discussed in other departments. Let me say it like that.
Hello, Mr. Klopp. My name is Siri. I'm from the Czech website idnes.cz. I would like to ask you, or you spoke a little bit about Brian Priske, Sparta manager, and you met him a few years ago in the Champions League games against Midtjylland. So do you remember him somehow, and what do you remember about him and about the game? Thank you.
Yeah, we met when he was at Midtjylland. I think, if I remember it right, we had some arguments on the touchline about the style of play of the opponent. It was pretty rough. So you asked me, so I answered it. It's not something. It's like just I saw the Galatasaray game. That was obviously not a friendly game as well. So yeah, we are. It's knockout stages. We go for everything, and that everybody involved in this competition is very ambitious. I understand. We are as well. We are not here for a friendly game. Definitely not. It's not about that. But yeah, that's what I remember. Very well organized. Obviously, you see that here. I think they played a similar system, if I'm 100% right. But that's a few games ago. So it's much more important what do they play now, and my teams over the years developed a lot, different systems, different ways, different ideas. So just because you play somebody 3-4 years ago or whenever it was, doesn't mean you know him. So a bit of a strange idea. But he's doing an incredible job here, and obviously that's much more important because after 9 years becoming again Czech champion is really impressive, and then being again top of the table this year, and being in the cup final as well, if I'm right? Yeah, that was not yet. It's just the next round. It's not. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, super impressive, and obviously there are some really good Danish coaches out there. It's a country where a lot of coaches are coming from. So they are not all the same. So. Knowing a coach from 2 games is not enough to say I know him very well. So, all good.
Good evening, Mr. Klopp. Nice to see you. And I have a question. Liverpool have a very difficult program in these weeks.
Thank you.
Yeah. You are first in the Premier League, and the next opponent is Manchester City. You are playing in a FA Cup against Manchester United. And how important in this context is a game against Sparta Prague?
Wow. As far as I know, it's the only game we play tomorrow night, so that's the most important game we have. That's absolutely. We don't make any difference. We wouldn't have won the League Cup. We wouldn't be in I don't even know which round it is in the FA Cup, but in the next round in the FA Cup, we wouldn't be still in the European League if we would prioritize a competition. We never did. Maybe it would be smart to do it. I just don't know how. I'm a bit dumb, so I don't know exactly how to do that. And we go in each game with all we have, and hopefully you will see that tomorrow night. That's the target.